Hello and welcome to Math 126 Online. My name is Eric Hutchinson and I'll be your instructor for this term. This video is just to go over a couple things for the syllabus. So you should have been emailed the syllabus or have a link to find it. I'm just going to go through a couple important things that are on here. You can read the whole thing on your own, but there's a couple important things I just want to highlight. So first of all, at the very top is my contact information. I'm on the West Charleston campus. Building H, room 101, office C is where you can find me. If it's during a regular semester, I have regular posted office hours and they'll be listed on the syllabus itself. If this is a summer course, that means that I do office hours by appointment, so you just have to email me and then I'll get back to you about when and where to meet. Email is the best way to get in contact with me. I'm not always in my office, and if you leave a voicemail, it'll just get sent to my email anyway, so it's better just to go ahead and send me an email. You can either do it through Canvas or you can send it to eric.hutchinson@csn.edu, and I check email several times a day, so a lot of times you'll get a response back. Definitely less than 24 hours or a lot sooner even. So that's the best way to contact me. So I do send all announcements through Canvas. So any kind of announcements regarding testing instructions, test review materials, changes in the class, things like that, those are all going to be sent through Canvas. So make sure that Canvas forwards emails to an email address that you check regularly, because if you don't normally go into Canvas and check, you can set it up to where it'll forward it to whatever email address you have entered in there, and it's usually the one you have with the school and MyCSN. So make sure that email address is updated so that way you don't miss any announcements in this class. Next is the website. There's a link that's here. It says it next to website, and that's where you can go to get all the materials for this class. So when you go into that website, on the left-hand panel, there's some buttons there. One of them says Notes and Videos, and if you go there for Math 126, you'll be able to get a list of all the lecture notes and videos for this course. So I didn't want to leave anything out, even though this is an online class. I wanted you to have access to all those materials just like you would have in a regular class. So I have PDF electronic notes, and all those have an accompanying video that goes along with it, and so you can watch that just like you're in a regular class. So those are provided for you. There's another button that's there that says Review Problems, Review Materials. So if you click on Review Materials, you're going to see links to a Test 1 sample and key and videos, and you have that for all the exams. If this class has a final exam, you'll also have a final exam link down there as well. Depends on when this class is offered, whether there's a cumulative final exam or not. So all that is listed there in the review materials. So you have a blank sample test that you can go over for practice, and then there's an answer key that's all typed out for you so you can know exactly how to do all those problems. In addition, there's also a video link that has me working through all the problems that's on the sample test. So all those materials are provided for you on my website as well. So what I recommend is when you go through those review problems, there's a version A, a version B, and even sometimes a version C. So every problem that's on the test will have different variations. You want to make sure you know how to do all those variations for the actual test. So what I recommend is go through version A, work through the problem on your own using notes. Make sure you understand how to do all those. Then what you can do when it gets closer to the test time, you can actually just take version B all the way through, just like you're taking a regular sample test. So that way you'll be able to get some practice in a testing environment, and so therefore if there's any problems you don't understand or forgot how to do, that'll tell you what sections you got to go back and check. So that's why I provide multiple versions, variations on the sample test, so that way you have lots of problems to work out. Now at the end of the blank sample test, I also have lists of review problems, and these are problems from the ebook that you can access in order to do some more problems for practice. These are related to the ones in the sample test and the ones in the actual test. So there's a lot of materials that you have available to you that you can do for review. So please take advantage of those and use those. So all that is on my regular website. The course description, objectives, and prerequisites, I'm not going to go through those. You can read that on your own. Next thing I want to talk about is what required materials do you need for this course? So what you need in this class is you need to purchase an ALEX student access code. And what that gives you, it's like a subscription service. You can buy these codes in different increments of weeks. Now, the publisher has a deal with CSN where you can get 52 weeks of access for a lower price. So you could get that. Now, I realize that 52 weeks is way longer than what this course runs. But you want to think about, are you going to be going on to Math 127 afterwards? Because if you are, that means you might want to get a subscription that's a little bit longer, because that way you can use it in the next course. If you just buy 18 weeks, that's only going to allow you one semester only, and they even have 10 weeks available too if this is an 8-week course. Now, you can get those to cover just this one course only, but if you want to take 127, it's highly recommended you get the 52 weeks of access. And you can purchase that. You don't even have to purchase it through the bookstore. When you go through the registration instructions, and these are at the end of the, if you find that at the end of the syllabus, so when you go to the end of the syllabus, it'll say this, ALEKS login instructions. And so this is what you're going to do in order to get signed up for the course. This is one of the first things that you should be doing in this class. So again, you don't even need to go to the bookstore. You can just go immediately to the last page here. At the top, it's going to say a class code, and you want to enter that in. And then once you go through that material, it's going to get to a point where it's going to ask you for that student access code. Now, these codes that are here, access code, you can get those from the bookstore, or you can just purchase one directly online. Now, if you don't have the funds to purchase this code at this point, what I provided for you is a financial access code. So that should have been emailed to you, and it's also going to be in the announcement page when you first log into Canvas. This financial code is going to allow you 2 weeks free access. So you can put that code in at this point, and you can immediately today start working on your homework. And then once your financials or financial aid come in, then you can turn that into a regular code. Now, after the 2-week period, you're going to be locked out. It won't let you have access to the course and the homework until you actually pay and turn it into a regular code. But at least you have an access code that you can use for the first 2 weeks, so you can start working immediately on this course. So just go ahead and follow all those instructions. Now, once you get through and you're registered, the first thing that it's going to ask you to do after you go through a tutorial, it's going to have you do what's called an initial assessment. The way this program works in ALEKS is it's an adaptive system, which means that based on how you do on your initial assessment, it's going to create homework based on your weaknesses. So perhaps maybe you took this course in a previous semester, or you took it in high school, and you might have retained some of the material from this course. Well, then that means that if you've already acknowledges that you know this material, that means it's not going to give you those particular problems in homework. So when you take your initial assessment, you want to do the best that you can. But don't be worried or upset if you can't do any of the problems that are in there. There's going to be some problems in there that you've probably never seen before. If you don't know how to do it, it's okay. Just click the I don't know button, or you can also just take a guess at one of the problems that are on there. It's just trying to assess what information you already know already. So you shouldn't go to the tutoring center and get help on this initial assessment. It should be just an assessment for what you already know already in this class. So therefore, don't feel upset or discouraged if you don't know how to do those problems. Just do the best that you can on it. Now, once you get done going through that initial assessment, then you basically will hit this button that'll say Continue My Path. And every time you log into ALEKS, you'll just hit the Continue My Path button. That's going to assure that you're working on the right materials. Now, the way this works is the homework in this course, they're called objectives. So every week, there's a different objective that is due, and they're always due Sunday nights at 11:59 p.m. These are made up of multiple sections, and there's a lot of problems in there, and so you want to make sure you allow yourself enough time to get that done. It's actually better to do this in smaller chunks throughout the week instead of trying to do the whole thing all on the weekend. But make sure you log in there. You should and do a little bit at a time to get it done. Now, the way it works is you have a bunch of goal topics, and the goal topics make up the objective. So first, you're going to be doing several problems, and once you do several problems, it'll say you finished a goal topic, and it's going to always tell you how many more goal topics you have to complete the assignment. Now, the grade that's recorded in the grade book is the percentage of how many objectives that you get done by the due date. So actually, as long as you follow through and you do all the objectives, you're going to be guaranteed 100% as long as you complete all those. And so once you get an objective complete, it'll actually open up the next one, and you can automatically start working ahead on the next one as well. So if you finish early and you want to start working on next week's, that's going to be available for you. So again, just hit the Continue My Path button. It'll tell you exactly where you're at, how many more goal topics you have to complete, and then just keep following and working through those problems. The problems that are in there are related to the ones that I have in my lecture notes. So again, before you start working on the objectives, please go through and watch the videos or read the notes for the corresponding section for this course. Keep in mind that Alex does give you sections that are put out of order sometimes, and so sometimes even though you might have multiple sections, it may give you something from a later section, so just keep that in mind as you're going through. Alex doesn't always give you stuff in order. It's giving you problems based on what it thinks that you're going to be successful for getting correct. So it's adaptive, and the problems are going to be different. They'll look different for each student because it's basically customized homework that you're given for each student to go through. Okay, so that's basically what's required in this course is Alex. Now Alex also has a ebook that's in there as well, and at the end of my blank sample test, you're going to see a list of review problems, and these are going to match up with the ebook that you can access for in Alex. So therefore, there's more problems that you can practice when it gets closer to the test. You can do extra problems that are outside of the sample test itself, and I'll give you some more practice. Okay, now besides the homework, there's also the exams. Now the exams, you have to come to campus for those exams. I give you either a 3 or 4 day window, so 3 or 4 different days the test is going to be available in the testing center. So when you go, you can go to any of the 3 main campus testing centers, and you can take it at that location. And they're open, the hours they're open is listed in here, but usually it's open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 7:30, and then Fridays are open from 8 to 5. Now the testing center is starting to transition into an appointment-based system, which means that you're going to need to make an appointment in order to take the test. And in order to make an appointment, there's instructions that you're going to follow. Now I'm going to email those to you guys, so be watching your email, and I'll tell you when the first test is going to be available for you to log in and make an appointment. I'm going to put the test, it's basically an online scheduling system, so you follow the instructions I'll send you and you go in and make an appointment for the test. You have to make an appointment at least 48 hours in advance. You want to do this as soon as I post the test and send you the instructions. You want to go in and make an appointment as soon as possible, so that way you can get the time that you need. Now if for some reason everything is all full, they do take some walk-in appointments, but keep in mind if you do walk in, you might need to wait a long time because they take the appointments first and then walk-ins they do afterwards. So in order to cut down on the wait time, go in there and make an appointment. I'll send you the instructions for that. And you can make an appointment at any of the 3 campuses. So I have it set up on those. Now for those of you that live outside of Las Vegas, who maybe live near Mesquite or Moapa, I do set up tests at the Moapa location over there. I've also set up tests for those that live over by Nellis or live on the Nellis Air Force Base. So I do set up tests at those locations as well. If that applies to you, send me an email before the week before the test and let me know, and I will send the instructions to those centers. Now, if you're not going to be in Las Vegas the week of the exam, you need to email me, and in that case, if you're not going to be in town for the exam, then we need to set up a proctor outside. So you need to still take it in a proctored environment. You cannot take the exams at home. It has to be done at a testing center, and so in that case, you can send me testing information for whatever location that you're near, and it's your responsibility to find a testing center or find a college or university in your area that proctors out-of-state exams. But if you're in Las Vegas, you have to go to one of the 3 main campuses, or Nellis or Moapa. Those locations are available for testing. And so once you make an appointment, you'll just go there and take the exam. The grading scale is in here. I do grade in a plus or minus scale. It tells you what the grading formula is based on what everything is all worth. Okay, let's talk about the withdrawal dates next. In the syllabus, it says the exact withdrawal date, and that would be the deadline for you to get an audit or a W for this course. Now, teachers are not allowed to assign a W as a final grade. So the only way you can get that is if you drop the class by the deadline that's listed here in the syllabus. So if you don't drop in time, then I have to assign whatever grade at the end of the semester the grade book tells me that's what I have to give you for your final grade in the class. I'm not allowed to give W's at that time. So keep in mind when that is, and if that applies to you, make sure you drop or do an audit in time. Next, I want to talk about the date of last attendance. Now, if you do end up with an F for this course, I have to report to the school for financial aid purposes when was the last date of attendance. And so in this class, I calculate that based on the last day that you logged into the course and did work. Or it's if you didn't log in, then it's the last day that you took the exam. So that's what I have to report to them. So if you stop doing work in class and disappear and don't drop this in time and end up with an F, then this is the date I'm report. I look at the records and I see when the last time you did a work in Alex. For the rest of the material, disruptive student policy, academic dishonesty, DRC, you can read that information about how to take advantage of those services if you need, and what counts as acceptable behavior in the class. If you don't have a computer at home, CSN has lots of computer labs for you that are available in different buildings on campus, so please take advantage of those. You can also go to the walk-in tutoring center. This is the last thing that it says here, Centers for Academic Success. They have computers there, and you can do your homework there in one of the labs, and there's tutors that walk around and will be able to help you if you get stuck. So the Centers for Academic Success, there's actually a walk-in lab, walk-in tutoring lab on one of all three main campuses. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of that. There's also one-to-one tutoring available as well, but they have limited hours. So the walk-in is going to be your best way to get some help. And also, again, if you get stuck on a problem, please feel free to email me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible with that. Or you can even make an appointment to meet me in my office. I'd be happy to go over some work with you, or if you need some help reviewing for the exam, I'd be happy to do that for you as well. As I mentioned before, Canvas, I'm going to send out any announcements, so if I have to make any changes with the syllabus, you guys will be informed about that. And so the last thing, again, just to remind you, the first thing you have to do with this class, what you should do right away, is go through these login instructions and sign up. After you go through the course, you'll enter the course code in. Again, the course class code is right here at the top, and you'll go through that. When you get to the part where it asks you to pay for something like this access code part that's here, that's where you're going to put in that financial aid code if you don't have one. If you want to do that right away to get started, and then 2 weeks later you'll have to eventually pay for that to turn it into a regular code where you can keep using it for the rest of the term. So take a look at that. That's again on the email that I sent you guys for that. And then once you go through and register with this one, then you want to go ahead and take that initial assessment. So that's what you should be doing right away. So this you should do right away because you want to get started on that homework, because the homework in this class is due. We do have homework that's due the first Sunday after this course begins, and so make sure you have a chance to get in there and start working on the homework. Again, there's no extensions on that, so if you didn't read your email until the weekend and you don't have time to finish it, I'm not going to give it any extensions. This course starts on that Monday, and so therefore we want to start working on that immediately once the course begins. So again, if you have any other questions on this, please feel free to send me an email either in Canvas or eric.hutchinson@csn.edu. Wish you all the best of luck. Have a great semester, and please let me know again if you need any help.